Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. It's Lori Mercer, firefighters.com, and we're doing our November 2014 webinar, our live webinar. So we like to have some live interaction each month and bring some of our partners on and just learn some new things about the fire service, have fun, just interact in person, virtually in person, at the same time through the chat, through the video, and through discussion. So as we said, use the chat feature, please. You can come on screen on video if you want to ask a question in person. We'd love to have you do that. But I want to just start by thanking and welcoming Steve Westcott with the Firefighter Cancer Support Network.
Hello.
Yay for video. He's had a long day at the Fire Academy, and looks like your accommodations are very comfortable there in the dorm room. So thanks for staying up and doing this with us. Makes for a long day. What we wanted, Steve, I met a couple months ago. I think it was at Firehouse, the Ohio Fire and EMS Expo, right, down in Columbus.
Yes.
And
yes.
That's right. And he is secretary and the Ohio State Chapter Director for Firefighter Cancer Support Network. So I'll let him say more about himself as well. But basically, we've all been touched by this. You guys have seen stories that I have shared about my husband's skin cancer. Steve has amazing stories of his own that we're going to hear tonight. And then we really want you guys to walk away with just knowing, not fearful, because, there's a lot of things we could be fearful about, and that's not what we're here for, but just to walk away with knowing what are some actions you can take to, prevent the further issues with cancer in the fire service especially. So welcome to Steve, who is a Browns fan. I stole the picture from your Facebook profile, so I hope that's okay.
Now, would you mind putting the presentation back up on my screen, please?
Oh, hey. Yeah, that's a good point. There we go.
Outstanding.
Yep.
So
You see the presentation?
Yeah, I can see it fine, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, that's what I said. He's a Browns fan, so I took your Browns picture and used that. Hope that's good. Hey, why don't you just start by sharing your story and introducing everybody to yourself?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight and allowing me to be one of your guests on your live meeting. My name, as you can see, is Steve Westcott. I'm from Ohio. I am the Ohio Director of the Firefighter Cancer Support Network and also a recent board of directors member this past year at our gala. So I joined the Firefighter Cancer Support Network actually in 2009 as a person needing assistance. But I'll fast forward before then. I joined the fire service in 2001, third generation, and definitely a calling, as everybody here can probably attest to, how their husbands got involved too. But this was definitely more than a career to me. It was more than a job. It was definitely a calling for sure. Ended up starting healthy, all the good stuff like we always try to do, but in 2009 it kind of took a little bit of a turn for a direction I didn't expect either. Anybody really doesn't. But in 2009, that's when I joined the FFCSN because I actually have had cancer twice myself now. Far from an expert, definitely have had a few close calls, we'll put it that way. But I have had more close calls in the hospital than on the fire ground or the accident scene. But that's what kind of gets me here today. Like I said, I've had cancer twice. I had leukemia both times, AML. The first time I was able to beat it. Took me 6 months of chemo to do it, a little bit of rehabilitation, and I was back on company for another 6 months. But surprisingly, the Sunday before my wedding, actually, we found out that there would be a uninvited guest at the reception, and I found out that I had had cancer for the second time then. But they eventually let me out that week. My wife was not going to allow me to stay in the hospital and miss the wedding, so she kind of jokes that I was able to get a little bit of a free diet plan leading up to the wedding. But yeah, everything working out good. I hit 5 years in September this year, so I'm officially cured. I ended up having a bone marrow transplant in September 24th, and here I am to now. So I'm 100% German now. I can thank my donor from over there in Germany that helped me out. But I'll definitely touch on my story a little bit more throughout this piece. But a big piece of the healing process and the whole fight against cancer was definitely having my sidekick Erin. She definitely was instrumental in not letting me give up at all. And I'm not that type of person, but I had a lot more going on this ride than just for myself. So definitely would like to answer all your questions. Like I said, we got a pretty good presentation, and we can go ahead and get things rolling.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to click through slides. You tell me when to move on. And hey, I'll watch the chat, so if anybody has any questions, we'll pause and go through those as well. So I did plant some questions there at the bottom that I know you ladies have talked about and asked about in our private community. For those of you on the line that don't know about that, we do have not just our main Facebook page, but over 700 women in our private Firefighters Sisterhood. And that's where a lot of these topics kind of unravel a little deeper and a little more intimate and private space. So if you don't know about that, that's firefighterwife.com/join to learn about our membership group. And that's really where these questions came from. So I'm sure Steve will address those and more.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me when to click.
Now, good right now. One of the growing trends that we're finding out is we're finding that 53% of all the firefighter line of duty deaths that we are experiencing are coming from cancer. It's no longer just cardiac. It's no longer collapse or something that happens on scene. It's happening to us from cancer. And it's been a growing issue for quite some time now, but with the help of a lot of research and a lot of studies from colleges, national organizations, and basically scientists and doctors, we've been able to start to put numbers behind what we always knew to be true. One of the biggest things that came from us was not too long ago, it was a huge white paper that we helped create and had a lot of different stakeholders join in. And one of the big things they were able to figure out were the types of cancer that we're getting more prone to as firefighters. And I know that there's a few questions that you guys have tied in. And basically, I think this information may answer a lot of it just as I go on. So I'll definitely hit on them. But the top 10 that we're seeing right here are listed. And it kind of goes down the line from testicular genitalia regions all the way down to my own leukemia and breast cancer also in women. And from the very beginning, we've always treated inhalation as being the main way that carcinogens were getting into us. Well, if we wear our packs like we're supposed to, and we wear them throughout the entire event and through the overall process, we're essentially eliminating a route that it's getting into our bodies. So we asked ourselves a pretty, easy question looking back, but how's all this stuff getting into us? And if you look at these 10 right here, there'd be a common denominator, and it's absorption that we're finding out. And the absorption rates are just astronomical, and you wonder why we're getting these types of cancer. Think of where the thinnest skin is in the body. Think about where you have the least amount of protection, and you look right down the line. It starts from basically testicular cancer, working all the way from your myelomas and lymphomas down to your skin cancer. I know Lori's husband has had it multiple times himself, and I'm sure it's not because of a lack of trying to prevent what's going on. It's just the fact that our bodies are letting this in, and it's coming in through our skin, and that's where it's storing it. It's going either to attack there, or it's going into our lymph system, our blood, affecting our bone marrow, and eventually, if it doesn't stop there, it's getting into everywhere else. So we're finding out these are the top 10 that we're getting as firefighters, anywhere from 2 times more down the line. So basically, if anybody's had any one of these types of cancers, definitely reach out to our organization, and we can get you more on each type. So we can go to the next one, Lori.
Awesome.
The white paper, the white paper that I referenced to, we ended up having just shy of 50 different stakeholders join in, and I've given Lori the PDF, and we want that definitely to be pushed out as best we possibly can. The last time that we had done an actual check on it, it's been downloaded over 500,000 times, and we're in over 70 countries right now. So when it did come out, it was labeled to be the biggest document at the fire service in over 10 years, and that was coming from multiple fire service trade magazines. So if you guys can get to that, that's about 16 pages of excellent information. It's not a tough read by any means, and it's definitely worth 20 minutes to maybe open your eyes to some certain things. So we can get you guys that, and you're encouraged to spread that, forward that. That is definitely for distribution for sure. But as far as the white paper goes, a few things that we could take from there was that was a tough look at what we were doing. And as much as we'd like to say otherwise, a lot of things that we probably weren't doing ourselves any favors for. So that tied together pretty much the prevention, the diagnosis, and the treatment, all to do with fire service cancer. And our organization was mainly started by a firefighter with stage 4 colorectal cancer in California. And it started with basically needing help on his end. He wanted to know what to do, who to talk to, basically looking for some help from everyone that we usually talk to at work. But when you get that word cancer, sometimes people forget how to talk to you. This is somebody you spent multiple years with. So that's how our organization started. But in the fire service, we don't like to be reactive by any means. We'd like to be proactive and try to look at what we're doing and maybe fix it beforehand. And that's what this white paper helped us do. We want to take a more prevention-driven approach. And this was able to show a lot to do with the absorption rates, the types of cancers we were getting, and then basically what to do. All right, we have this information. What are we going to do to actually stop it from happening? And what we've done is we've come up with 11 initiatives that really don't cost any money, which is nice because it seems like everything in the fire service costs a lot of money. But we've tried to take a pretty good approach that maybe not everything is financially driven when it comes to protecting yourself. So we'll talk to those 11 here down the road. But definitely check out that white paper, and we can even get you hard copies if you want. But we can go next one, right?
Yeah, and just so everybody knows where to get it, I mean, this is the white paper. Can you see that I'm scrolling through? Not sure you guys can see that or not. And you can access that at firefighterwife.com/cancer. I put a direct link right here to that white paper. So.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
So we talked about some ways that we're getting these exposures. Well, inhalation was always a big one. SCBAs have only been around for 30, 40 years, probably not even used appropriately until the last 10 maybe. And still a lot of times people aren't using it now. So one thing that you guys can do, and I know my wife was always good for it, is, honestly ask that question, hey, are you using it like you really should? And are you using it like you were trained and taught? And I mean, it's a simple question to answer. It's either yes or no. And if you have to ask yourself that, you're probably not doing it right. You make your own decision on that. But I can tell everybody, and I did a few different news articles, I always thought that if it was to happen, it would definitely be on scene of something. And I tell everyone I always thought it would happen with my boots on, not my boots off. And when I mean that, it means I didn't think of, ending my career as a firefighter in a hospital bed. So down in a small room, when you think that, you're looking pretty cool, no pack on, dirty gear, all that stuff. The things that we definitely don't do ourselves any favors with. But as far as inhalation goes, definitely preach that wearing your FCBA is so huge. And get out if they're not. Honestly, do that. If you're married to a company officer or a chief officer, come down and get on the people there and say, this is no longer going to be status quo. It will be done. And, you can basically start that at the firehouse level. But if you're a chief officer, put it in writing. Make a policy and basically make it a zero tolerance policy. you either wear it or you don't, and if you're anywhere associated with, the active hot zone, you need to be on. So as far as SCBAs go, that should be pretty self-explanatory. But the big thing that we're finding now, like I said, is the absorption. And one of the studies that we had found, and this was another one out of the great state of Ohio, it's spreaded right now, Cincinnati, they helped us with putting this absorption thing on the map. And one of the things that we found were 400% more absorption when the exterior skin temperature goes up 5 degrees each time. That's not internal body temp by any means, but just think of how flush you would get, even in the wintertime, wearing all the gear and going into a superheated environment and doing the regular job. So it's pretty obvious, the common sense thing. When you're hot, what happens? Your pores open up, you sweat, and you're basically turning into a sponge. The same way that we're trying to cool ourselves naturally ends up being kind of a double-edged sword in this case. So 400 times percent more, that's a pretty big number. We're sucking in a lot of nasty stuff. Ask whoever is around. How long does it take to stop smelling like a structure fire? It's a good week. You can take a shower as many times as you want during the day, but anytime you sweat or do anything, that's what you're smelling like. And that's your body's way of trying to get it out. But if you fought that fire 7 days ago and you still smell like it, a week down the road, where's it coming from? It's inside of you. It's wreaking havoc. One of the things that my oncology team always told me was we all have active cancer in us right now, every one of us. You're making millions of cells, and there's just a chance, that you're going to have an error eventually when you're making that many cells per minute. So what we need to really keep an eye on is stacking the deck in our favor and stopping basically anything that's going to exacerbate these bad cells from starting up. So with absorption being one of the big things and knowing you're drawing in these carcinogens, do yourself a favor and immediately take a hot shower after a structure fire. Let's try to get the people back in service just as strongly as we try to get the rigs and equipment back in service. So if you're on a career department and you get back, try to have somebody take your spot and jump in the shower, a hot shower, and lather up. I know, obviously washcloths are pretty huge for some of the younger generations. They like those loofah things or whatever they are, the sponge pumice things. Whatever it takes, you need to take a hot shower and just get that off you. Just really just peel it away. I'm not going to teach anybody how to use a shower, but it makes sense when you look at it. So that's kind of funny. But then make sure that you don't go into... It's a good question.
Oh, sorry, can I ask a question? So, yeah. Christmas is coming and everybody wants to know what, to get their firefighters. Is there any particular kind of soap that's better than others? Or, or is it pretty much just get in there and get stuff?
Nothing that we've heard of, endorsed, or researched on. I know there's some people that are trying to say that they have sprays for things that are known to stop carcinogens. I don't want to say that's not true, but I don't think it's true. But as far as soap goes, something that's going to be used, it's the temperature in the water that really is going to help you out. And as much as I like to give the younger generations grief about their loofahs, they may have won that one on us. It's about basically scrubbing all that out of you and doing it multiple times. In my gym, we have a steam room and a sauna. And I highly recommend jumping in that because you're just basically helping yourself out and getting that even quicker out of your body. So I would say that wouldn't be a bad thing to do if you weren't looking for a stocking supper or something like that. So, a good question, good answer too.
And if you're going to buy them Christmas, don't buy pink. Just get a manly color.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another reason that we can make fun of somebody at work, but we don't do that at all, right?
No, never.
For the showers, though, obviously, you want to get in there and get that out of you. So keep that in mind. Look at all its absorption. We got to get it out as quick as we can. So, in addition to good eating and exercise regimens, that's other ways that will attack the carcinogen cells or all those bad actors. So once again, we're stacking the deck in our favor. So I think that's good for this slide.
Okay, I'll ask another question, and if it's not on this slide, you tell me. What about laundry? How should we be laundering? Well, the lives shouldn't be. I mean, this should happen at the station, but you and I both know that some volunteer departments, it doesn't happen at the station. It happens at home. And how should they be laundering their gear, decontaminating their washing machine, those kinds of things?
Yeah, and you hit the big one on the head. Shouldn't be coming home at all. I also know it's a perfect world scenario. For the career people, if that's not a policy, make it a policy for yourself. Don't bring it home. Don't have that mixed up with your kitchen towels and your regular clothing with your spouse. Definitely don't mix up with your kids' clothes. Just leave it at work. I didn't even bring my boots home. I left that was always at work. So as far as there goes, definitely, change a uniform, clean your uniforms on duty. Get 24 hours. I'm sure you can pull it off. As far as in the paid on call or volunteer, keep an extra set of regular clothes at the station. And if you have a washer and dryer there, like a gear extractor, throw them in there and use the soaps that come with that. But don't be bringing that same clothing that you wore underneath your turnout gear home, because we all know where that's going to end up. So I would say just carry 2 sets of regular clothes, just as 2 sets of regular PPE would be good. So I hope that answers the washing thing, but basically trying to cut yourself off from that coming home is a great first step. Keep it at the firehouse.
Absolutely. Okay.
Pinpointing the cause, honestly, that'd be a $1 million question. You really can't find one particular cause, but you can look at it at the bigger view and just think of all the ways that they're getting in, all the ways that these bad actors are getting into us, and all the things that we can stop. And one of the big things that helped us out was in 2009 again, Dr. Grace Lemasters, who was a PhD down in Cincinnati, and one of her teammates down there came up with different types of exposure that we were getting, and they were the ones that pretty much put the top 10 on the map for the firefighters. And what they were able to pull off was basically saying, hey, these guys are getting these types of cancer more than the layperson. And just recently, a new study from NIOSH, which is a large national organization that does a lot of testing and scientific studies when it comes to safety and health, they basically examined 30,000 firefighters from basically date of hire all the way to when they passed. And they were able to find that pretty much those numbers and those types jived with even a bigger population that they studied, a bigger sample population. So pinpointing the cause, we really can't say it's one particular thing, but I can tell you that certain, obviously, things that we are doing are helping things out when it comes to figuring out what that root cause is. So the big thing that we've found is the game's changed. It used to be everything was made out of wood. Everything was pretty much, your regular products that were burning. But now, I mean, there's over thousands of carcinogens in just fire and smoke now, and they don't have an idea past a couple hundred what they actually are. It's a toxic soup. And look around. I mean, you're probably sitting at a table that's made out of like a faux wood. It's essentially plastic. I mean, I know this chair I'm sitting in is definitely not leather. It's plastic. And just like most stuff that we get now, it's plastic. And think about what plastic is. It's basically gasoline and oils put together. And when that burns, where's that going? It's going into smoke, and then we're absorbing it in. One of the worst things that we've done in a long time, I think, were the flame retardants. And they're just finding out now what that's doing to the firefighters. And if you haven't already saw it, showings of that around the U.S. But one of the things that will absolutely drop your jaw is there's an epidemiologist up there in the New England area. And essentially, firefighters are going into these, common residential house fires that we are, probably living in right now. And immediately after a fire, they would have them basically draw a vial of blood. And they were finding in the blood tests that the flame retardant chemicals were already in their blood immediately after that fire. So that's how quick absorption is happening. It's happening immediately. And it was shown once again right there by scientists and doctors that, you know, you can't argue with that stuff. And what we do from that now is the big question. We're definitely not being quiet about it. I can promise you that, especially with our network, because enough's enough. And we have all this information, and now it's starting to try to get a little traction and go. So I think that answers this one pretty well.
Tell me the name of that YouTube again. Is it Toxic Hot Seat? Is that what you said?
Hot Seat, yeah. Yep, Toxic Hot Seat. I think it's about half hour to 40 minutes long. Definitely worth checking out. And I'll try to get you the link if you can't find it really quick, but I know it's out there.
Okay, let me move this screen over and you tell me if I've got the right thing. This is always dangerous, live YouTube on a webinar. Who knows what's going to pop up?
Exactly. Yep, you got it.
Is this awesome? Okay,
yep,
I'll put that link there.
That's, I think, a 30-second snippet. I don't know if that's the whole thing, but that's essentially the video, yeah.
Okay,
it's scary. Watch out what you're looking for sure there. You know, that video opens a lot of hard eyes. But, yeah, we're good with this one, Lori.
Okay, perfect.
So, the big thing, the big things that people want to know is what can we do? What can I do to reduce my risk here? And we'll gladly answer that for you. We have 11 things, and, you know, they're pretty much cut and dry. And like I said, we're not asking for $1 million to make this happen. A lot of these things are just an attitude change. And like anything, and you guys could all justify this, it's a cultural change in the fire service. We're using big words, you know, a culture change and stuff like that, and you're trying to basically cause a movement. And I think we're really gaining traction, which I'm very happy for. But the 11 things that we're looking for, and don't apologize if I read to you, I don't want to do that, but I'm going to go right down the line on this. This is the back page of that white paper. And I believe in one of the couple slides coming up here, we talk about the same things. So if you look at these 11, number one that we already called for were SCBA usage throughout the entire overall process. And another thing about the inhalation is the days of running the trucks inside in the winter because it's cold, unacceptable. Don't do it. It's not a good idea because all of our trucks mainly run off of diesel. And the number one byproduct of diesel exhaust is benzene. And you may ask what the number one cause of leukemia is. Benzene. And for the longest time, I know we didn't have the exhaust capture systems that basically exited out the building for us. There was a big amount of grant money that went out for that, and a lot of stations are picking it up, but still we're not always that lucky to actually get them. So we need to make sure that the trucks are being ran outside. Even when it's cold out, you're doing yourself a favor. You really are. Dress up and, you know, get warm for the weather. But you don't want to be around that stuff. So number one is obviously SCBA usage during the overall process, and obviously, you know, the diesel exhaust. Number two would be on scene. You know, get on your husband's case a little bit about deconning on scene. Also, we already have these magical things called fire hoses on the ground that shoot water. So just spray yourself down really quick. Just do a gross decon, what we call in the field. You're getting the big stuff off of you. We'll worry about the rest in a little bit. Get that big stuff off of you, and don't bring it into the firehouse. And Lori's showing some of her graphic arts work. And these are all great things that you can definitely pass out and get the word out there in a little better visual approach.
Yeah, you guys can pen these, like if you're in Pinterest, or these are good for sharing on social media. So we just took their list and made one for each graphic. So you can find them there too, Beth.
And those come right off of this 11 issues here. So number three was actually a surprisingly tough push. And one of the things that we said was absorption. Clean it. Get it off you as quick as you can. Get some baby wipes. They're a few dollars. And we have little bags that most of the career guys carry when you get on duty. You put it in the truck. And you can carry them in your own personal bag. But in the fire service, obviously, we don't look out after just ourselves. We look out after the whole team. So go and get a big, it doesn't have to be name brand or anything, a big thing of baby wipes. So put them in every apparatus. And number three basically wants you to take one of these, and once you get out, while your pores are still open and you're still hot, take one of these and go down your head, go down your neck, your brow line, all that good stuff. and try to get your throat and underarms and your hands immediately. Get the stuff as much as you possibly can immediately off. And a lot of guys cringe putting baby wipes on the truck, on the fire truck, because we're, tough firefighters and stuff. That doesn't jive real well. So I don't care what you have to have them call it. You can make a sticker that says, carcinogen extractor, and make it sound as fancy as you want. When the day is done, it does the same thing. So definitely want to get those on the trucks. Once again, that costs a few bucks. We're not asking for the world here. But have people use them. Another thing that we kind of tease people is some of the guys, they may not even want to wash their hands after using the restroom, let alone before. So this one may come as a shock, but wash your hands before you use the restroom, especially if it's before you've had a chance to really get the stuff off of you. Before you go, touch some things that you don't want to have carcinogens all around. Wash your hands before, okay? Try to get them nice and clean. So that's a good one, because we looked at the #1 type for firefighters was testicular cancer. That's just one way we can stop that one from happening right there. That same goes for the women in the fire service. I mean, that whole genitalia area under the undercarriage, if you will, it's really thin skin. So watch out about that. So wash your hands beforehand. #4, change your clothes. Wash them immediately after a fire. No ifs, ands, buts around it. Change your clothes, get a fresh uniform on, take a hot shower, and if you're responding to the station as a career guy or a volunteer guy, it doesn't matter. Don't bring that home. Take a shower there. Takes a few minutes to get a fresh set of clothes. So that covers 4 and 5. 6 is a pretty big one, and again, this is keeping your gear clean. Okay, treat your gear like it is, and call it as you see it. I mean, it's a shell for protecting yourself, and it's going to stop a lot of the stuff from getting into you, but it definitely still does. So if you don't wash your gear, you're not doing yourself any favor, because every time you go to put it on for an alarm drop, or you go to put it on for an accident call, even if you don't think that you were in any real hazardous condition, you were basically encapsulating yourself in a suit full of carcinogens again. So you got to wash that gear, keep it clean. The extractors at the stations are the best things that happened to us for a long time. They're a specially designed washing machine, really. And you put your gear in there, and I don't care if the policy says once a month or once a year after every fire. No problems with it. Just put your stuff in there and make sure it's clean for sure. So keep a fresh set of gear either on standby, or try to wash it immediately, and to help each other out. If the other ship had a fire and they leave their gear that's washed, ready to go hang it up on the rack to dry for them. Put it together for them before they come back. I mean, it doesn't take long. We're just helping each other out on this. They'll do the same for you eventually. So keep that in mind. Definitely keep a fresh set of gear. The other problem that we run in with that is #7, and that's taking basically contaminated clothing or PPE home and then storing it in your vehicle. It's a bad idea. A lot of us, can keep our gear at the station, and that's fine and great, but for everyone that's responding from home, maybe not the case. A lot of departments still allow you to keep your gear in your vehicle, and you respond right to the scene. To each their own. But keep in mind where you're putting that gear. Or let's say you get a temporary trade to another station, or you're going to do a training outside of your area and you need to take your gear with you. Think about where you're putting that. A lot of guys are driving cars and they put that in the trunk where they put their groceries, or they put that on the back seat where they put their kids. This makes sense. It's a common sense thing. You don't want to do that. That's the most precious thing you could possibly want, and we're going to set it here in where we put our turnout gear. No, I'm not talking about groceries. It's your kids I'm talking about there. But keep that in mind. When you're going to station, you're going somewhere, if your gear's dry, one of those carrying bags is not a bad idea. They're vented, though. That's the thing you have to watch out for, and that's because they don't want mildew to start or anything like that. I really recommend a tote, a plastic tote, so like a Rubbermaid tote, and putting your gear in that. and that encapsulates it, and that'll keep things taken care of. If you are taking it home and you're not going to need it for a few days, put it in your garage. Get it out of your car. Keep it out of the way. So you're talking about a Christmas gift or something like that. I'm going to have to up my stock in Rubbermaid totes really quick, but go out and get those. That's a pretty cheap gift that you can do a lot of help with. So keep that in mind. Number 8 is decon fire apparatus interiors after fires. So how many people have had your kids go to the firehouse and visit, and where do they want to go? They want to sit in the back. You know, everybody does. Even the officers want to sit in the back still. So keep that clean, because that's one of the last things we really clean the best. And you smell like a house fire for months on end if you keep sitting in there. And you're going to sit there and take alarm drops. You're going to go on EMS calls. You're going to go grocery shopping. You're going to do public service things. And you're going to sit there in your somewhat clean day clothes, your regular uniform, and you're going to just sit in all this nasty stuff that the guy just sat in coming back from a house fire or a chemical spill or something like that. So it makes sense. Go in there and clean that really good and take care of it as far as that goes. As a parent, I would be furious knowing that these seats are filled with all this stuff and my kids are getting put in that. That wouldn't add up for me very quickly. So keep that in mind. And also on that note, as far as, you know, where you're putting kids, one thing I strongly encourage against is all these pictures right now of the newborn babies getting put in the turnout gear. That bothers me. We talk about absorption, and let's talk about the thinnest skin you can possibly have. I mean, you got a brand new baby, and, you know, it's great to put them in the gear and be proud and stuff like that. I can understand the pride thing, but ask yourself if that gear is 100% clean. Ask yourself that. And now where's that baby getting put? So keep that in mind before you do it. And how you go about that is obviously your call, it's your child, but I would tell you what I would not do, and that'd probably be it. Yeah,
well, let me add into that. Yeah, so, you know, my husband's perspective on a lot of this changed entirely when he became a father, and not just for the kids, but for himself. As far as how he acts at a fire scene, when he wears his, you know, breathing apparatus and when he does not. He's basically set a rule of thumb that says, you know, if he's not going to let his baby girl breathe it or touch it or be at it, then he probably shouldn't either. So I think that's a good way to look at it. Maybe if you're not a father yet, it's sort of hard to have that experience. But that's been his rule of thumb. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody wants to see these pictures for sure. And you don't have to know this part, Steve, but like the mommy claws come out mega big time on topics like this. So we try to not like touch them, but I would just encourage them to use a blanket. Don't use skin on skin contact. You know, there's ways to get cute pictures without kind of exposing them too badly.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of I don't want to say it's funny, but whenever I go to, you know, hold a new baby or something like that, the first thing I always do is wash my hands. And it's a good thing to do, obviously, for really much anything anymore. So, I mean, I think about me taking precautions to wash my hands, and then I see, you know, these pictures, and it makes me upset. It really does, I'll be honest with you. There's other great ways to get photos. And, you know, I mean, if you're going to have any, you know, if you're going to have any repercussions that could possibly come from this, I mean, think about what you're wearing all day long on these calls and what you're getting, and then you're going to put your child in that. I mean, it doesn't add up to me. But once again, to each their own, but I would say definitely consider what you're doing on this one. Put them in a Class A uniform hat. That's fine. I mean, you're not wearing that to fire scenes. Put them in, you know, clean gear, you know, something you can vouch for, but the whole thing with the, you know, the gear holding the carcinogens that we know it does, it's probably a good thing to probably stop right now before it gets to be pretty big.
Yeah.
That would be what I have for this.
We have one question waiting in the queue also, if we can ask that one. It is, her firefighter suggested they were suggested to use bleach to clean the washing machine every few weeks. Does the bleach really work, and if so, how often is enough?
Well, I mean, I'd have to ask, is it a regular washing machine versus gear extractor? Because obviously the gear extractor should be used for turnout gear and for any dirty station wear that you would wear. The washing machine should be essentially just for like kitchen towels and shower towels, and that's something huge that we really want to put a giant sign on. And I don't want to see turnout gear getting put in with your kitchen towels and your bathroom towels, or vice versa. So the bleach thing, I have heard of that being pretty good in regular washing machines. I don't know of any particular study that could vouch for it working in a gear extractor. And one thing I would recommend would be talking to that manufacturer and seeing what they think. We are working on trying to figure out either a study or a product, but the products that are clouding that this be the end-all be-all to basically stopping carcinogens in these machines, there's no real research that we are aware that backs that up. So as far as bleach goes, I mean, it kills pretty much everything, but no one's really taken a bucket full of bleach versus a bucket full of carcinogens and watched the war wage on. So I don't think it would hurt, but I can't say with 100% that there's anything backed up with that. So hopefully that's not too vague of an answer, but we worked on that and we still are. So number 9 was another one I wanted to hit pretty good. That's keeping bunker gear out in the living and sleeping quarters. That stuff should be in a separate room off of the apparatus bay, and the new national standards reflect that. But I mean, that's our firehouses are old, let's face it. So keep the gear out in the bay and keep it in these bunker room areas. You don't want this to be brought into where you're going to hang out for the day, especially not where you want to sleep, things like that. And we get complacent. I know a lot of guys, including myself, that would, you get these night runs and you want to just roll out of bed, roll right into your gear, and off you go. You don't want to stop you want to cut the middle piece out, basically, that intermittent clothing versus then going in your turnout gear. Keep that stuff in the bay. Keep it away from the common area. It's one less absorption route that you have to worry about getting right there. That should be your safe haven. That's where you get to go and relax and do stuff. You shouldn't have to worry about, picking up other things. I did a study not too long ago saying how quick MRSA was found in a firehouse. And, I mean, we keep our firehouses generally pretty good. At least you should if you don't. And that's pretty crazy to think that they found something like that we know about in a place that we always clean. So, you don't want to add anything into that mix that we don't have to. Number 10, this one always gets people pretty fired up. Stop using tobacco products. Not going to beat a horse on this. But keep that in mind. I mean, there's stuff that we know about that, and you know how the body likes to try to fight things off. But if you're continually giving it something that is not good for it, I mean, we're going to think about what we're doing here. So I'm sure it can be done. A lot of people have done it. It just goes back to your willpower. And there's a lot of commercials and ads, and there's a lot of things that go back there that are pretty powerful. But let's think about what we're doing as firefighters here and all the extra risks that we're already taking on. Let's try to stop some of them that we are doing optional. And I'd say number 10 is a pretty big optional one. So get on somebody's case. Try to figure it out. See if you can stop them from using stuff, because we know that esophageal cancer, colorectal, lung, all those. I mean, I'm not going to beat the horse on this. So number 11 is another one that was just recently picked up as a huge one, and I mean, this one is probably going to hold a special, comparison with Lori's life. Number 11 is obviously melanoma all over it. And, use sunscreen and sunblock. It's one of the last things we think of, and I'm not saying lather up before you take a call, but if you're going to be doing hose testing all day in the sun, put a hat on, put some sunscreen on. You can ask my wife. I hate it. I don't like the feeling of it, nothing like that. I was always raised in the EMS world from 18 on up, going through all my paramedic classes. If it's wet and not yours, you don't touch it. And it kind of puts me in a weird spot. So I fire tooth and nail. I'm like a little kid getting sprayed with the hose. But now it's not that hard with the spray types of sunblock. So once again, it's a nice little thing to have in your stocking, and you keep it at the firehouse. And I mean, I'm sure the other guys will use it before they do, but hey, at least someone's using it, right? So number 11 is a huge one. Wear hats. Hats have been associated with looking unprofessional. I think it's all about where you wear it, how clean you keep it, but that's one more barrier from you versus the sun. And it's not always just sun or UV related skin cancer that we're worrying about. The biggest organ in the body is skin, and it's taking the brunt of the damage when it comes to absorption through all these carcinogens. And let's think about where it's getting in. It's coming into our backs, it's coming into our thinnest skin along our neck, along our brow, and our scalps. And there's a pretty powerful picture I know of a certain lady's husband that's had to deal with melanoma 3 times, and I mean, that's a lot. And you never know how it's getting in, but I'd say it's got to come through the skin for a pretty strong way to get in anything like that. So keep that in mind. One of the last things we do clean on a regular basis is the actual grommet in our helmet. And I know I wasn't always the best one for it. I thought I was doing pretty good about cleaning my gear, but I never took the liner out of my helmet unless it reeked. And let's think about where the helmet sits, and you can see the sticker on Lori's husband. I mean, the brow, essentially the helmet sits right there, and even on alarm drops or on a car crash or whatever, it's just digging in all the time right in there. So keep that in mind. It's one more thing that we can do to maybe help ourselves out a little bit.
And to be fair, he did spend a lot of his younger years in California in the Marine Corps, so he definitely had a lot of sun exposure. But it's no coincidence if you've already got an irritated area. And just, this is my 2 cents on it. We talk about what to look for. He's had 2 spots now, and they're like wounds that they sort of look like a zit or a scab, like he hit his head and hurt something, but then it doesn't heal. And it doesn't heal for a couple weeks, and then it doesn't heal for a couple months. And, it's like, it looks like it's healing, and then it breaks open again, and it turns out that it's, basal cell carcinoma is what he had.
It's very common, a very common one, and right now there's one of the guys here in Columbus that's going basically through what started as melanoma on his back, and it spread to other organ systems, and he's doing good right now, but he's putting on a pretty good fight right now, but hopefully it works out better than what they want to tell him sometimes. But he's a good guy. Mark's done a lot for Ohio and the fire service in the fight against cancer. And it's one more thing that you just don't ever want to think about happening. I mean, skin cancer. Come on, let's be real. It can't kill me or hurt me. Well, yeah, it can. And when you have something that close to your brain, especially that spot, that'd be a pretty big concern. And we just don't think about it. We really don't. But he talked about there being kind of a constant irritation or there being an issue with that. One of the documents I also sent Lori, I sent you the big one and the little one, and it really hits on the wellness and prevention aspects, and I think that's coming up in one of the slides too. So good on this one. And this one was a little bit wordier, but this is kind of the meat and potatoes of what we're trying to preach here. Same thing right here. We can skip this one. There we go. On that WFI, basically the International Association of Firefighters and International Association of Fire Chiefs, right here, they got together with a bunch of doctors and scientists, and they came up with what we can do to kind of help ourselves out here. And a lot of us get physicals every year. Sometimes they're biannual. And if you're not, you definitely, especially coming from a guy, you probably should go see the doctor more frequently than the lay person. And I know most men don't really like to go to the doctor. I definitely stopped the approach. When you see the doctor as much as I did, you become pretty good friends. But this really helps explain the whole justification. Now, if you don't want to read all of it, no problem. I gave Lori, basically, I think it's a 3 or 4 page document, and it's a bunch of tests. And most of them are things that we already do anyways in our yearly physicals. But we should check these things out. And essentially what this will do is this gives the doctors and the firefighters something in the fight. And it says, hey, we came both worlds together and put this together, and we all believe that this is probably the best route we can go to stop anything before it happens. And yes, there's more people getting diagnosed with cancer, but also, yes, more people are beating it. And it comes back to early detection. And I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard that. But early detection takes a little bit of initiative on your part to go and get it detected. And you don't want to get, behind it. You want to get ahead of it. So by taking that document to your department or to your physicians or your medical people that, your medical directors or coordinators, that gives them kind of a blueprint. Let's say they don't want to order all those tests on the department end. Understandable. Take that to your primary care provider and say, Doc, I'm a fireman. I don't know if you know that. I'm not looking to get anything for free, but I would like you to possibly run these tests or order these tests for me because I want to make sure I'm ahead of it if anything happens. And the big push right now in the healthcare world is early detection, keeps you out of the system, also keeps you alive. So I definitely push that. As far as a little bit more about what we do, and we're a 501c3. We don't get paid. We run on volunteers and donations and grant funding. But we started as a group that basically helped other firemen going through cancer. And I joined basically as a mentor in the very beginning and managed to kind of work my way up because I believe that much in this program and what it does. But when you get sick, you don't want to really talk to your doctors. You don't want to talk to your spouse. You don't want to talk to your family. You don't want to talk to any medical providers. Who do you really want to talk to? You want to talk to other brothers and sisters that are on the job that can understand and relate a little bit more with you. And, you want just to go and talk to them, either be at the kitchen table or the tailboard of the truck or on the front ramp. You can talk to any firefighter. They say they've been ramping. That's what they mean. You want to talk to those people. And we figured that out. And the guy that founded this organization went through that same moment. So one of the things we do is we team a person up based on the type of cancer they were diagnosed with another firefighter that has had that same type of cancer and beat it. And that's a one-on-one person that you can bounce with. And right now I have 14 people that I've mentored personally that have went through leukemia or a bone marrow transplant throughout the U.S. And it's just having that contact that you can call and bounce a question off of and things like that. You don't pay for any of this. So this is a good organization to keep pretty close to. We don't care if you're career or volunteer or both. We don't care. If you're a firefighter and you get diagnosed with cancer, give us a call. We'll do everything we possibly can. The other thing is same with your family. Any of your spouses or children will help you out. And not only, we may not be able to mentor them in particular, but we can get you in contact with somebody else that's went through that in their family that's in the fire service. So we're looking out after each other again. The other component that we really wanted to hit as of late in the past, 5 years is the awareness and education. And like I said, we like to be proactive. We're not reactive creatures. So we make these presentations and go out and provide this information to either a department on their own, an association, or go to the stations, a work group, what have you. But we go there and try to push this message out. And we're not selling anything other than just trying to stop getting cancer. It's pretty simple. It's the only thing we're trying to sell to you. I showed you those 11 initiatives. I think only 2 cost money. So, the rest is just pushing out what we need to do here. But the FFCSN is a phenomenal program. If you believe in it, you want to help us out, that's great. You're just basically helping us get stuff put together. Another thing we do, we can go to the next slide, please, Lori, and I'll wrap you guys up here. The other thing we do is kind of educate how to help your members out. And you have, usually 2 worlds. The one world is, you kind of go off and, beat cancer or fight cancer on your own, and you never hear from the people at work again, and that's a sad situation, but yes, it happens. The other is you want to do as much as you possibly can. And it becomes almost like a 10-way front of trying to help this person. It becomes where you're almost duplicating efforts. So I recommend having a point person, and we can help set that up if that happens. We have ways to do that. But some of the things that you can do if you have to experience going through cancer, either as a spouse or someone that you know of at your firehouse, and, Lori, I'm sure you can attest to a lot of this. You want to have people come that just want to be supportive. You're looking for people that are good listeners. that'll help you out and offer a presence. You're not trying to say, oh, I know what you're going through or anything like that. You may not know what they're going through. You want to be there to help them. Offer rides to appointments. Help burden, less that burden. Some people still have to go to work, or help a ride or get them out of the house. Maybe go and help while you're at the doctor's office and be an extra ear and just kind of write things down and jot notes down. One of the things we do offer is like a toolkit, and it gives you a lot of great information. And one of the things is it helps you keep all your stuff organized from all these appointments and tests they run. So that's a good piece that we do offer for free. But another thing you do is offer encouragement. At some point, some people start to feel bad for themselves. They may even give up. Luckily, in the fire service, we don't have generally that attitude, but it does happen. And I will admit, I felt bad for myself about a half an hour. And then I realized that attitude wasn't going to get me very far. So my wife promptly put her foot in my ass, to lack of better terms, and off we went. So that helped. And anybody that knows me, that's kind of mean, but I definitely had a little more of a driving force. But encourage these people. Don't let them stop. Don't let them think that they're just, used baggage now as the department. They're not. Just yesterday, they were your good friend that would do anything for you. So return that favor and help them, go and get assistance or give them every possible thing you can do. Mow their grass, help them out. Build a ramp for them. Do something you can to help them. I mean, we have a great amount of people that want to look after each other. This is another way to do it. And also encourage others. Obviously send cards, handwritten cards, letters. Visit these people and just let them know they're not alone. And that's the premise of our organization, is let these people know that you're not alone. If you're going through it, you're not alone. And if you need help and you think you're the only fire department that's dealing with cancer, you're not alone with that either. So we want to be there for you guys. And really, that's the best thing that we do, is we don't charge you for anything, and we offer, pretty much anything you could possibly want. So that's how the FFCSN was started, and that's what's going to keep us going, is that attitude right there. So that's all I have on this slide, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I hear this all the time. There's requests that come in. There's requests within my community. I mean, it's almost overwhelming for me to figure out how to get people to help, because everybody wants to help when there's, an issue going on in the fire service. So I like having partners like you guys so I can kind of direct and say, hey, is that family connected with this resource? And have you talked to your, the state rep or however it is? And we're going to have your contact information at the end here. Now that you're secretary, you're telling me you can redirect all the emails to the right people. So we've totally got the right guy to get stuff done. Okay.
Yeah, we're nationalized. I'm sorry, cut you off.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. I was going to ask you that. Is there a chapter in every state?
No, there's not, surprisingly. We are a nationwide organization. I'm hoping we're going to be worldwide here soon. I guess you can call Canada worldwide. But we're in the lower 40 states, as far as like 42, 43 states last I checked. So we do have chapters in each of those. With several hundred people involved in this organization. Luckily, I'm able to run Ohio. We're very proactive right now. We definitely have a pretty good fight on our hands coming up here. But, we're gaining some pretty good headway. Last year alone, I trained 1,700 firefighters in the state alone, in the class that we offer. And we've been able to have it tied in with a lot and push the stuff out. But now, as on the board of directors and especially the secretary spot, pretty much the mainstream of communications comes through me and just a couple others. In the past 24 hours, I've had 4 guys reach out to us that just got diagnosed with cancer as a firefighter. It's not very good, but I like being the first point of contact with the organization of these people. Especially, I've been there twice myself. So, I mean, we are pretty big, but we can always take on more help, volunteers, anything that, you guys want to help out with, something like this. I mean, this helps go right back to watching out after our own. It essentially stays in house, and this is what we use it for, stuff like this.
Awesome. And so that's what I wanted to share here, that, we do look for, there's a lot of 501c3s in the fire service, and a lot of people trying to do good. Our organization likes to partner with those and to give where we can. So for tonight, you know, as a thank you for doing this with us, and just because it's the right thing, we have these protected dog tags that we sell at the Firefighter Wife store, and they're real low cost, $5, and that includes shipping. So, hey, all the proceeds from these for the next 2 days, the 18th and 19th, we'll send over to you guys at Firefighter Cancer Support Network. So there's links out on the website to that. Just a little bit.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we already talked about this. You know, firefighterwife.com/cancer is where all this information is going to be linked. I'll link the other 2 reports that Steve sent me as well, the recording to this webinar, the shareable graphics that we already shared, and actually I got some good ideas for some other fun graphics while we were talking tonight. So I think we'll put some more together as well.
That'd be great. Definitely. Then people can go to our Facebook page, Firefighter Cancer Support Network, and then ours is the Ohio chapter. We put stuff up almost every day. It's free, reports from going around the nation, things like that. Any new likes is always good. You'll be able to get our updates and stuff, and you know, it's a pretty refreshing look to see what's going on. Also, our national one is the same. We're all on there. It's basically free PR. For basically good stuff, and you can see I just put up a guy right now that was in Georgia that was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he just got back to work after 3 months, and that's the kind of stuff we like to do. That's a pretty powerful story. I mean, most people would roll over after hearing, you know, a brain tumor. He went right back to work, so that's pretty cool. There's 2 good-looking guys right there. We were just at a recent conference here in Ohio. That's myself and West Virginia's director, and also one of Ohio's proteges, and he took over his own state, so that was pretty cool. But, you know, it's a lot of good stuff on there, and like I said, we're just trying to push out the good word.
Okay, and just so I understand, there is a Facebook page for each of the chapters, correct?
The majority of them, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, we have 40-some chapters. Not all of them are social media adept, so at least Ohio is, and the nation one is. So check it out. It's good stuff.
Okay, awesome, perfect. We will link that also. Of course, we keep doing Movember at our website. That's always a very fun social media share. So everybody can continue to submit mustaches. I think we still have a couple more slots left, or we'll get them up as much as we can. So that's fun. And hey, I always like to do a giveaway at these meetings. And it's not even a meeting, it's an event. So tonight, I wanted to know who is the newest Firewife who's attending live, because number one, good for you that you are getting informed on these topics and wanting to help your firefighter. So let's see, if I look through names, I might have to call out Heather Booth. Heather Booth. Are you a girlfriend or fiance or wife? You might be the winner, but I can't see through all the phone numbers, so somebody's going to have to speak up here in chat. Anybody married for less than a year, go ahead and type it into the chat. Nobody's typing. How about less than 5? Well, Heather, you're totally the winner. That's close enough to count. She's a fiance getting married in a few weeks, so awesome. Go ahead.
Good department. I know those guys down there at the good department.
That's right. That's right. Heather, you're in, are you at Bethel Township also? Is that right? You'll have to type it into the chat. Yes. Awesome.
It's Miami.
Okay. Send me a message with your shipping address and your size, and we'll get a shirt out to you. Okay, there's Steve's contact information. Like we said, any questions, send to him. Hey, any suggestions, any other questions, I mean, things that come up, this is not just a one-time thing. I mean, this is a topic, you know, that firefighterwife.com/cancer page is going to stay on our website permanently, because this is a topic that comes up all the time, not just in Movember or Pink October. You know, it's a year-round topic, right? So we're going to keep talking about it, and you'll keep seeing posts on our Facebook pages as well.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great thing in the making for sure. This topic isn't going anywhere. I hope to hear more good stories like the man in Georgia coming out. I mean, 53%. I can't sleep on that number. That doesn't sit well with me. But we're there, and we're going to stop it, and we're going to get the message out. But if someone is faced with this disease, please let us know, and we'll do everything we possibly can in our powers to do what we have in-house, and then we'll also push you maybe in the right direction on certain things, or at least guide you, I shouldn't say push. But, no, we're there for you. We'd be glad to do it. We're definitely, not going to forget our main premise of why we were started, and that's to help firefighters that have been basically given a pretty big battle on their hands. But it can be done. It's going to happen with the people in this room. I mean, I know my wife wouldn't let it happen. I don't always mention this, but, when we first got together and obviously got engaged, we were only engaged for 2 months when I found out for the first time that I had cancer. And, I went to Aaron and I said, hey, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it. I said, we're heading down a pretty interesting road right here, and I know we've been together for like a year and a half. I said, we're engaged now, obviously, and, obviously the end future is to get married, hopefully, here. I said, but, I don't think we were planning on dealing with cancer 2 months into an engagement. I said, so, that being said, I said, if you want to walk away, I'll hold nothing against you. I said, I'll tell, anyone that it was on my call, and, we'll go with that. And she said, I'm going to stop you there. And she goes, don't ever mention that again, and we'll fix this. We'll figure it out. And, I mean, we never turned back from there. So, I mean, that was a pretty big, testament to character, I thought. So I was like, man, I think this is the right one. I vetted this one pretty well. So here we are. I mean, multiple years down the road, and it's been a great ride. And I tell you what, don't take this for the wrong way, but cancer's definitely opened up a lot of crazy, awesome doors for every window that it did close. So, I mean, go hard each day, do what you have to do, and just protect yourself. Protect yourself. That's all I have. But definitely send me emails if you need anything. Check out our Facebook page for sure. It's a free way of getting great information, and share the stuff. Share it like crazy. We're not trying to hide anything here. Just share it like crazy.
That's great. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that part of the bonus. I got chills both times you've told me that story, so thanks for adding that. All right. Well, everybody knows where to find us.
Yeah, any questions? Stick on a minute.
I don't see any in the queue. Don't be shy. We'll bring you right on camera. No, nobody?
Nothing. That's fine. Hey, if you want to do it privately, shoot me an email. I'm usually pretty good about getting back to you within 24 hours, if not sooner.
Awesome. And we'll replay this a few times on our social media pages as well. We'll have, since it's recorded, and lots of people will get to watch it moving forward.
Great. Well, I'll let you guys do your thing. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Go back to enjoying your night. I'm going to enjoy mine. And got 21 new recruits that will be graduating this week. So believe me, they've definitely been taught the right way. And we added the cancer piece to the curriculum. So that's one of the things that we're pushing out, is starting to do things right from day one.
Awesome.
So, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Next, you can add the girlfriend and marriage pieces to the academy, right? That would be helpful. Yes, for sure. It's a pretty big piece. Awesome.
So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Pleasure. And obviously, reach out if you need anything, and we'll be in contact.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night,
See you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.